What up, my friends, and welcome to the brand new Irons United channel and the very first match day preview of the coming season. We have Manchester United at the weekend, but before we crack on and talk about that, I'm going to pass you over to Anton, and he is going to fill you in on Irons United.
Hello guys, my name is Anton Baker. Some of you may have seen me kicking about on Twitter and Facebook. I'm just giving you a bit of an update on what we're doing with Irons United. We're growing a massive social media following, and we have decided to enter the world of YouTube. So thank you to all the guys that have been working with YouTube. We are building a community, and I'm just going to touch on something we've got coming up, which is really exciting. You may have seen from some of our posts that we've got a sponsorship, and we are lucky enough to announce that the sponsorship, which you have seen, is from Umbro. So that's amazing, and we've got some cool things to give away to you. One of the first announcements I want to give to you is, if we can get 250 followers for our YouTube channel, we will give away a signed, brand spanking new West Ham top from the current squad. So yeah, get subscribing, and we will then announce, once we hit 250 subscribers, the first competition winner. The second competition we've got coming up, which will be on social media over the next couple of weeks, will be two tickets to the much anticipated game versus Tottenham. So we will be announcing a competition on social media websites. Keep your eyes on that. And I'm going to stop talking for now, and I'm going to pass you to Rich.
Thanks, Ant. My name's Rich from Johannesburg, South Africa. Irons United have got a lot of exciting things coming up in this coming season. One thing that I'm really excited about, that Ant and I have been working on for a number of weeks now, actually months, is an international show very similar to the Premier League Fan Zone show that they actually have in the UK. Now, surprisingly, that show is not actually broadcast in England. It's only to foreign countries. So that's why I've been able to get involved. And Ant and I have come up with the idea to get people from all over the world on a Skype call with me and him, where we introduce him and we tap into a West Ham market of fans all over the world, discuss all things West Ham, why they support the club, their predictions for games going forward, anything West Ham. So we're really, really buzzing about that. We've also got FIFA things going on. One of our members, Alex, is actually going to deal with that, where he plays a FIFA game, and the results of that game, people place bets on. So it's just for shits and giggles. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be really excited about that. I've got vlogs happening, so a lot of exciting things. And yeah, buzzing for the season. So let's get down to business. Dan, Manchester United on Sunday. Can we nick something at Old Trafford?
I definitely think we can. Slav's record against the big teams, so to speak, you can't really call them the big four anymore. Well, every team's pretty strong in the league, but against the big boys, especially in his first season, he proved that we can beat them on our day. I think the signings that we brought in this season, I'm sure we'll touch upon that in a moment, but the signings we've brought in have made us a better team, and if we set up correctly, we defend better. I'm sure we can nick something from the game. What do you think, Ant?
Yeah, I think it's the first game of the season. It's everything's up in the air. We don't know who's going to start, what formation he's going to go for. I just think we've got to go for it. I'm quite glad we're getting the big game, one of the big games, travelling away to Old Trafford, out of the way in a positive way, and then we can move on from it. But I just think we have to take this opportunity, go there, and we've got some new signings and build on the momentum that we've had from the summer, which has been a positive summer, in my opinion. Rich, what do you think of the formation maybe that Bilic might start with?
It's an interesting one because, with Czech Kouyaté being out, suddenly our holding midfielder positions goes out the window. I think we're probably going to go, I'm reckon 4-2-3-1, Hernandez at the top, Obiang and Noble holding, three in front of those two. But I think we've got so many different players, so many different combinations. I'm not even sure who's going to start. I mean, our squad depth is much better, I feel, than where we were last season, which is a massive plus. So yeah, I'm just intrigued to see what happens formation-wise. And I'm very excited for the subplot. Chicharito going back to his old stomping ground. I would just love it if he could get a goal, because I'd be buzzing if he could do that. United-wise, who are the threats? Obviously, you've got Lukaku, who just loves scoring against us. Who else do you think is going to be a threat? Dan, what do you reckon?
I think he's nailed on to have a better second season. The last piece of the jigsaw, as far as I'm concerned, for Manchester United is Matic. They brought him in. And for me, that's an absolute steal. Why Liverpool and Arsenal weren't thinking about that signing is beyond me. It's an absolute steal. He had his arguably best couple of seasons of his career under Mourinho when he was at Chelsea. I get quite a lot of inside knowledge because my brother's a Manchester United fan. So he follows them and he knows. Yeah, tell me about it. I know, lads. A southerner and he supports Man United, but it's one of those things. But yeah, he seems to obviously he pays a lot of attention. He reads a lot about the club, and the feeling around the club is that the Matic signing will make them a better team because it will help Pogba push forward. You know, when Matt's fit, he's going to be able to play a more central role, and I think they're going to be the big threats. And you know, they've got Martial, they've got Rashford up top. That's where they can hurt us because we've shown, and I don't usually take too much notice of pre-season, but we've shown in pre-season just how terrible we can be at defending the ball. I don't know if you lads feel the same. Maybe do you want to elaborate on that a little, Ant?
Yeah, I think we've had our discussions. We've been talking about pre-season and what the importance is. For me, I think some of you guys will agree. And if any of you do agree on the channel, please put the comments below. But for me, pre-season is what it says in the tin. It's pre-season. It's a chance for them to work out, get fit, get familiar with each other. I seen a stat the other day that I think we won every game in pre-season under Avram Grant, and then we got relegated. And then a year, was it the boys from '86? That pre-season, they lost every game and then went on to have the amazing season they did. So yeah, pre-season for me is a fitness mechanism, and do you know what? Store all the good work for the main competitions. When it comes to Manchester United, they're always a fearful team. Doesn't matter whatever manager they've got. I mean, they've dominated football for a long time. Yeah, people say that other teams are there, but they're always there or thereabouts. And yeah, I'm always going to fear them. But I think, like I mentioned earlier on, it's the first game of the season. Nobody knows what formations teams are going to play. They all think they do. They're going to turn up. Lukaku, yeah, he does have something against. He's got something for us when he scores against us. But it's an opportunity for our defence to make up for maybe not the best year last year, to work as a unit at the back. And for me, that maybe leads me on nicely to the maybe one of the signings or two of the signings I want to talk about is Joe Hart and Zabaleta. For me, I'm just going to put it out there. I think Joe Hart's a steal. Yeah, he's on loan. People say he makes mistakes, he makes a calamity. See, to be quite honest with you, all goalkeepers do. Look at Man City's decision to feed him away to Torino, and look who they replaced him with, and look how that worked out for them. Let's put our arms around this guy, and let's make him feel loved. And I can imagine he's going to wear his heart on his sleeve. I don't know what you guys think, but Rich, I mean, what's your thoughts on Joe Hart?
Yeah, I think Joe Hart's a quality goalkeeper. The fact that he's played for England for such a long period of time shows his class, and I think he was treated really poorly at Man City, if I'm honest. And I'm hoping we've given him a nice little escape route and he can resurrect his career, because the last season and a half, Joe Hart's been nowhere. So I'm hoping he can recapture his best form, and I think he will. He seems to be up for it. In pre-season, people have already made a point about how he commands the box. He's not scared to have a go at defenders. He's not scared to shout at people and command the box and, shut people out if they've made mistakes, which is a good thing. I think we really need that, because sometimes in the past our keepers have been a bit soft in that regard. But yeah, I'm very excited with Joe Hart. I think Zabaleta as well brings a lot of experience. Going forward is where I'm most excited. I think Arnautovic and Chicharito are two massive coups. And I think Arnautovic, obviously I love Chicharito and he brings goals, but the Arnautovic one is an interesting one because he spends a lot of money there. And he's got this bad boy reputation, which I actually quite like. And I think if he brings it to us and he shows his class, because he blows a bit hard and cold every now and then, but I think if Slaven can tap into his technical ability and he can bang in a few goals, him and Chicharito, as well as Antonio when he gets fit, I think we could have a deadly little front three, Lanzini in behind. Suddenly we are looking like a top 7 side. So yeah, I'm buzzing for that. I'm very excited for that. Going Any signings that excite you, Dan? Anyone in particular, if you had to nail one of our signings?
Yeah, I've got to be honest, all four are brilliant signings. I just want to touch on the Joe Hart and Zabaleta signings, though. And obviously, they're both multiple Premier League winners now with Manchester City. And I think that of the signings that we've made, they're probably going to appreciate our fan base that little bit more. I think City's fan base, from what I've seen online, quite unbelievable, to be honest with you. A lot of City fans that I've spoken to on there have wished them luck and said you've got a hell of a signing, you've got a hell of a lad, and all this sort of stuff, especially about Zabaleta. And I feel like if our fans can put our arm around them players, they'll take to us just like they did City. I know that City have potentially lost these two guys, but their loss is our gain. And like I say, they're winners. They've won the Premier League, and that's the sort of thing we need in the team. And Joe Hart is a brilliant one. And Ant's already touched upon the fact that he does make the odd mistake. Every goalkeeper does. But the thing about him is he's a natural leader. And you touched upon it, Rich. He will have a go at the defence if they're in the wrong. And I like that. I think that's what we definitely need that with our defence. We leaked far too many goals last season, soft goals. And I think that leadership was the biggest issue as far as that's concerned.
And there's been a few debates there, Dan, as well, like online, and we've probably all seen it regarding Adrian and Hart. And I don't want to take anything away from Adrian. Like I do like him. There's loads of debates last season about when was it the right time for him to be dropped. I think it was the right time for him to be dropped when he was dropped last year. But then there was also a time and a right time for Randolph to be dropped, and maybe he came a little bit too late to be dropped, in my opinion. Yeah. He's gone now, and there's a good battle between the two. And as long as we can, in my opinion, hold on to Adrian, it can always push Hart to try even harder. I don't think he would never not try harder. But there's been a lot of the preseason games that some of the reporters and fans have been saying that he's demanding at the back, he's screaming, he's shouting. And when I've played football and anyone else has played football, they'll realise like communication is key, and that's what he is doing. He's letting people know where they need to be.
Yeah. Definitely, and I think that is a real key ingredient that our squad needs at this moment in time. It's an exciting squad. It's one of the best teams we've had in a long, long time, and especially with these signings that we've made this summer. They're seasoned Premier League players. That's what I think is the nicest thing about the signings made. There's no unknowns. We haven't just gone and plucked someone out of the air that no one's heard of. A lot of people were kicking off about the Onyenkuru deal and that we didn't get him. I didn't mind that we didn't get him because he had one good season in, a Belgium league. It's a completely different kettle of fish, the Premier League. And I'm glad that we went after seasoned pros. And, Chicharito obviously did great things at Manchester United. And I think that we're still yet to see the best of Arnautovic. I think we overpaid by a good probably 10 million quid because he does flit in and out of games. But I still think we are yet to see the best of him. And if our fans can take to him, we'll definitely see that this season for sure.
What's really excited me, Anne, is the fact that finally our owners have actually put money where their mouths are, because obviously we haven't signed the 30 million pound striker that David Sullivan's been talking about, but we've got Chicharito, and as you said, Dan, proven Premier League quality. We've stopped with the rubbish that we did last summer, the Caleris, the Zazas, the Torres, the Nordvites. I mean, that was absolute shambles, and I'm glad they've learned from their mistakes last summer, because now we've got proven Premier League quality and we've spent some money, we've shown some ambition. I think that's what we lacked last summer, so I'm buzzing about that. And what you want to say, mate? Sorry,
I was touching on just excited about the four signings, or now we've got the fifth, and I'm not even going to pronounce the lad's name. I don't know if any of you can. Havsanakovic or something like that.
I'm not even going to attempt it, mate.
Yeah. It's just really exciting. Yeah, Rich, I'm the same. I'm glad they've put the money where the mouth is. Last year was, I think that the biggest problem with the fans was don't announce the fact that you're going to sign a marquee signing and then don't sign the marquee signing. But all can be forgiven and will be forgiven as long as they have gone out and done what they've done. I agree with Dan on maybe overpaying on the price of Arnautovic, but we are in that crazy market just now. Yeah. And tonight or this week, you've seen Gray go to Watford. I don't know what the full deal is, but is it 11 or 15 rising to 18 million? And then I think to myself, okay, like I think I would rather Arnautovic. I know with different types of players, but for the money. So yeah, Chicharito for me, massive. I mean, no owner, no manager, in my opinion, maybe they did, but would not want to sign him, specifically on the price that he cost. Yeah, he's taken our wage structure up. He's taken our wage structure up, but we need to rise up and move on with things. But he's a steal. He's a natural born goal scorer. He runs off the defenders. He knows how to get into space. He's there at the end of the ball. We will come back to Chicharito, but I'm going to throw a little spanner in the works and talk about maybe a guy that's not been talked about much in the summer, and that's a signing we made last year, and that's Ayew. For me, I think this, if he gets game time, this could be a big year for him. I don't know if you guys agree. Dan, what do you think on Ayew?
I think the tail end of last season, he started to prove his worth. We did pay a lot of money for him. It was one of those signings as well that just kind of came out of the blue. It seemed like a panic buy to me. Yeah. You know, we were being linked with £30 million players and all the rest of it, and that's what we wanted, that marquee signing. None of them were coming off, so we decided on him. And then unfortunately he got injured against Chelsea, and I thought, oh, here we go again. It's another one of those situations where we play big on a player, he gets injured, we're not going to see the best of him this season. But, you know, you've got to give Ayew his due, because we can't sugarcoat it. Last season was terrible, and it was a relegation dogfight at times. He got stuck in, and I appreciated that. And he really started to prove his worth to the team. I don't know if you feel the same, Rich, about Ayew.
Yeah, I think I got really excited when he arrived, because he did a lot of good things at Swansea, and I was really impressed with him. Even what he's done with Ghana, international-wise. I think the injury that he suffered at Chelsea didn't help him at all. As soon as you sign for a club, a lot of hype, then he's out for a couple of months. But as you said, Dan, he came right at the end of last season, and he especially found himself in the right place at the right time on a lot of occasions. A lot of his goals were tap-ins, fair enough, but he was in the right place at the right time. So I am excited, and I'm hoping he can stay fit, because hopefully he can carry his form in from last season to this one. So I'm buzzing. I think another thing about
Ayew was he was not just when he was scoring goals, but he was really influential in the team. Coming, like you said, near the end of the season, a lot of the defenders were panicking when he was in and around the box. When I was at the Sunderland game, the one where we gave away the goal in the last minute, I think it was 2 each. He was so effective on the park. Like, he was drifting all the defenders away with him, because they were panicking. They were like, "This is the guy that gets in the space, so we're going to put 2 on him." But then they had Carroll to contend with, and they would put 3 on him, and then they would leave space for all the other players to go. So he kind of causes a bit of havoc, because we don't really know where he plays. He plays kind of everywhere. 1 minute he's on the right, 1 minute he's on the left, and then he's in behind, and then he's up front, and then the next minute he's banged in a goal from 5 yards out. And he's got the stats that are reading really nice. But yeah, I suppose it gives us a bit of a, I don't know, is it a problem in the midfield again with when everyone's fit?
It is a headache, but it's a nice headache, I think. You'd much rather pack that squad out with quality. The difficult part that Bilic is going to have this season is keeping everyone happy. Whether or not you can do that, obviously, I feel like a lot of people keep saying we're screaming out for another striker, but I think we're overloaded. Arnautovic can play through the middle. Antonio can if we really get desperate. But then you know, people are forgetting that Carroll and Saka are still there. They're probably two of the most injury-prone guys in the league, but they are still there, and on their day can be very, very effective. So if anything, we're well overloaded up front. And for me, Ayew, for me, he's more of a 10. He's more of a false 9 type player, but he can play up front, and I think he'd do a pretty decent job if we had to call upon him playing up there as well.
I get from your comment there, Dan, I take it you wouldn't have him as a starter.
Based on the players that we've got now, I think really it's going to be a feeling out process. How good is Arnautovic going to be? How consistent is he going to be? You know, Lanzini is better than Ayew, but I think they would both play the same role in the team. But for me, it's always Lanzini over Ayew. Ayew can play right, but then Antonio has to be benched. So it is one of those things. It's a nice headache, but at the same time, it's going to be difficult for Bilic.
When Carroll and Saka do come back, we will have a headache, as Dan's mentioned. But one intriguing thing that's come out of pre-season is the form of Tony Martinez. I'd love to see him get a bit of game time. Do you think he'll get anything this season? Because we saw with Fletcher last season, he got a couple minutes at the end of the season. Now we've shipped him off to Borough. I'd love to see Martinez get a bit of game time. I don't know what you guys think about that. And
for me, it's reasonably. It looks like it's quite controversial comments. People are saying he needs to go and he doesn't. He needs to go out and get more game time. I read one of the articles that someone had written for our website, and they'd said that he's done it at a lower level. Maybe it's time to give him an experience in and around the squad, send him out to the Championship, see how he gets on, and then maybe bring him back. Maybe that's a good idea. But then maybe the old school side of me goes, why don't we just throw him in at the deep end? What happened to the days when we used to get someone like that and just throw them in at the deep end and just see what happens? I think people always go back to like Freddie Sears, but there's a difference between Freddie Sears and Tony Martinez. Freddie Sears was a great finisher, is still doing his job. I think he's in the Championship, or maybe I don't know where he is just now, level below. Last time I remember he was at Ipswich. But yeah, he was really quite small, and I don't want to say that about people when they play football, but he was a small guy. Tony Martinez just looks like an absolute baller. I'd be delighted if Tony Martinez, do you know what, if he even just put him in the Man United game, why not? Why not? Alongside Chicharito, like formations, yeah, do you know what? I know it's not going to happen, but I'd just love to see a bit more of Tony Martinez this year, and maybe starting some games or coming on and getting game time, not just the last 5 minutes, not the last 10 minutes. Over to you, Dan. What do you think?
Well, Bilic, rumour has it, Bilic has come out and said that he's worked his way into his first team plans anyway, based on his performances in pre-season, which I love to hear. I want to see youth get more of a chance. I think it's sad that Burke and Cullen have gone out on loan again. I think it's sad that Oxford's gone out on loan again. Like you've just touched upon it, and about the days where we used to just throw guys in. Rio Ferdinand was just thrown in. Lampard had very limited loan time. He was then thrown in. Joe Cole's thrown in. Like back in the day, these guys were given a chance, and if they could do it, they could do it. If they couldn't, then see you later. And I feel like it needs to be a bit more like that. Otherwise, we are going to come to this situation where the country's just not going to build any homegrown talent anymore. And I know Martinez is Spanish and stuff, and we can't be touching upon like England and that sort of thing with him, but you need to start growing at a youth level. We pay a lot of money for our academy and we don't use it effectively. I don't know if you guys, agree with that, but I feel like we need to start using the talent that we're producing.
Yeah, it really frustrates me because we are the so-called Academy of Football, and yet we ship players by the truckload every single season out on loan. What really annoyed me was Reece Oxford. I mean, 2 seasons ago, he's got Mesut Ozil in his pocket, and now we've shipped him off. I thought he was excellent in that first game, and I suddenly didn't get any game time from there on. So it was a strange one. I look at people like Junior Stanislas. I think he's done brilliantly at Bournemouth. So it's really upsetting. I think we need to give more of the youth a chance. But in this market today, it's much easier just to spend money, bring in a foreigner. I don't know what you think, Ant. What do you reckon?
People always go on and say to give youth a chance is the making of them or the breaking of them, and you're going to ruin their career if they come in and they don't do well in the Premier League. Well, if they don't get the chance, they're not going to be able to be seen or have the chance. What bigger spectacle can you get when you are given a start or a sub appearance with 30 minutes to go or a full game? If you're Tony Martinez and you're told, you know what, you're in my plans for Sunday against Man United, just go on, have fun, do what you do. Because you look at Manchester United, and when they had a few injuries and they brought Rashford on, like no one was talking about him. Apparently they were all talking about Fletcher, but they put Rashford on and look what happened, and now he's in contention for starting games at Manchester United, and I like that. I don't want Man United to win. I don't like Man United, but I respect the fact that they gave a team of that level can give a young lad a chance to come into the team and prove himself. And for me, that's what I think we need to do. Massively need to do. If we go back to maybe the game. Oh, sorry, Dan.
Yeah, sorry. I was just going to say, if I can say one thing, if they're good enough, they're good enough. I think that I personally think that a lot of these players are not given a chance because of the business side of the football now. I feel like there's so much at stake, especially where the Premier League is concerned, that it's too big a risk sometimes to throw a youth player in there and say, go out there, lad, try and score us a goal, win us the game. when you've got, say, a season pro like a Chicharito, if he's fit, he's going to be picked all the time. And if you've got a fit Carroll and Sacco, surely they're going to make the bench over a youngster, because unfortunately that's the way football's gone. I do think that the fact that there's so much money involved, especially where the Premier League's concerned, we earn 7-8 times more than some of the other leagues in the world, where the sponsorship and the prize money is concerned. At the bottom of the league, this last season earned more than the team that won Serie A. That's crazy, if you ask me. And I think that's a lot of the reason why youth isn't given a chance, is because business beats pleasure as far as football is concerned these days.
And I think that's maybe like a kind of slightly a downside maybe of the size of our club. What I mean by this is we can bring in a good quality player, but we may have to promise some certain game time. Whereas maybe Manchester United, or Liverpool, or other teams, I'm not going to name them, but they can say to a player, and some of the players who know them know them all around the world, are willing to sit on the bench and wait for their chance. But our players of like Arnautovic, will he sit and wait on the bench? I don't see that. I think he'll get annoyed, pissed off. I think Ayew definitely will get pissed off. So I think we've got the potential. Yeah, we've got a great squad. That this potentially is going to be a big year for Bilic to see how he can manage many, many egos. And we definitely have egos in this squad, because we've not had this quality. We've had great teams, great squads in the past, but times have changed, and we've got a really, really good, decent squad, but they've got a lot of egos in there.
Yeah, definitely.
If we're going back onto the game on Sunday, how do we think we'll line up? What specific formation, and do you think they're going to go for it? Do you think we're going to get a surprise and go for it, or are we going to typically do the park the bus? Dan?
Bilic he's well renowned against the big clubs. I don't know if you two will agree with me, but he's well renowned for counter-attacking football against the big boys. Our last season at Boleyn, I noticed it. Like at the Boleyn, it was gung ho. It was attack, score more goals than they do. Because I just feel like they wanted to put on a show that season. But I went to quite a few away games that year, and I went to a few of the away games against the big boys. And that game when we nicked the result against City, that was all counter-attacking football. And I feel like with the pace that we've got, the players that we've got, I think we are more than capable to do that now this season. I'd love to see Masuaku start at left back as well, because he's an absolute train. And I feel like when you've got two fullbacks bombing on like that, you can hit teams on the counter-attack. And I think that is how we're going to approach the game. The season's not lost in the first game of the season, and I feel like it'd be silly to go gung-ho against Manchester United. I think counter-attacking football is what wins it on the day, and I think that is what we'll see. I don't know if you agree, Rich.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you've just said. Bilic 2 seasons ago got his tactics spot on away from home. That was why we were able to beat the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool on the road, City as well. So yeah, I think we are going to sit. We're going to soak up as much pressure as we can. And then when we get half a chance, I reckon we're just going to smash them on the counter-attack, use the pace that Arnautovic has, get Chicharito in and behind. Because I don't think the Man United centre-backs are that great, to be honest. I think we can get at them. So we're going to sit behind the ball. Obiang's going to have a big role to play, I think, up against the likes of Matic. And I agree with you about Masuaku. I think he deserves to play at left-back. Cresswell, I don't know what happened to him in the last season. He was absolutely nowhere. So, yeah, I agree. Masuaku has to start at left-back. Hopefully he can go on some overlapping runs and get an assist or two this season. And what do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree, and maybe it brings us on nicely to let's maybe do a round robin of what formation do you think we're going to play and who's going to start, and then maybe do our predictions if you guys are up for that.
Yeah.
So let's start. Is it very obvious at the back, the goalkeeper, Joe Hart?
Yeah, for me. Definitely.
Yeah. So it's not point in. We've already touched on him. We keep saying touched on him quite a lot, so we'll continue to say that. And yeah, what we're going to play at the back? What do you think we're going to play at the back?
Do we play wing backs? I don't know. Are we going to play 4 at the back? We're going to play 3 centre backs and 2 wing backs. I don't know.
Do we have enough fit players to play 3 centre backs and 2 wing backs. You know,
the
only way I can see us going that route is if we go with Font and Collins, and I think we're going to need a bit more than that against United. I'd like to see Reid, Ogbonna, Masuaku, and Zabaleta back 4. I still think like if you're playing Obiang holding midfielder, he can drop in. He becomes pretty much a free when the fullbacks are bombing on. I think that's a smart way to go.
I agree with you, Dan. But for me, and I'm still going to say it, but the jury for me is still out on Ogbonna. Rich, you were at a game with me last year, and we've probably seen a few times. I mean, he does make big mistakes at the back. In my opinion, he is demanding, and he can do a good tackle, and he's strong, and he is effective sometimes. But sometimes I think he's got the potential to make the most mistakes in the back. I know that's maybe a big, bold statement. Jury's out. He has signed a new contract, but for me, maybe I'm contradicting myself. Yeah, for me, he's got to start, him and Reid, and then Masuaku and Zabaleta.
Definitely
exciting to see the communication between the 5 of them, because there's a lot of big characters in there. I mean, we all see Winston Reid. We all see the way he screams. Joe Hart screams. Zabaleta screams. Masuaku's a baller, can play. He'll probably get bullied by them all, you know. So Ogbonna is just he looks a bit nuts as well. So
I think Collins and Font won't get a run out, because Martial, Rashford, anyone with half a decent amount of pace will absolutely destroy those 2. So I don't think they'll be in and around the team on Sunday.
So moving forward, then, how many in the middle are we looking at? You know, are we gonna pack out the middle of the park?
I think it's going to be a 3. I think it's going to be Obiang holding, and then I don't know. It's going to be a mixture of because obviously Koyati's injured, so you know, do you play? You go with Noble, but do you play Lanzini deep, and then you open the door for someone else, or do you push him forward?
For me,
I reckon.
Sorry, Rich. For me, I reckon with what you just said there, Dan, you play Lanzini more forward, and you let Obiang and Noble do what they do, and give Lanzini that freedom, because he's got that forward, the distinct forward up front, Chicharito, and he's going to be excited by someone who has got a proven goal scoring record. So to give Lanzini that freedom up top to be able to play alongside him, for me, I think we need to utilise massively. So I think Noble, for me personally, is going to come in and support Obiang in that role. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, I think it'll be Noble, Obiang. They'll just sit in front of the back 4, offer as much protection as possible, and then I reckon we'll play 3 in front of them. It will be Lanzini, it will be Arnautovic on the left. I'm not sure he plays on the right, and then obviously Chicharito I think is going to start. So it's literally the only position we need to think about is who plays on the right hand side. What do you guys think, Dan?
Is Antonio back? Is he fit? Is he healthy?
I don't think he's available. I don't think he's going to make it, no.
No, I thought it was 50-50. I read somewhere. So for me, I'd play Ayew, because he works the hardest out of the other players that we've got left. He won't play on the right, though. He'll float. And I think Lanzini will. I think they'll share responsibility of the 10 and the right wing. They're both very good at it. Lanzini will drop deep and pick up the ball as well, and because I was so good, running off the shoulder of players, a bit like Chicharito. And when you actually sitting here talking about it, thinking about it, it's quite an exciting prospect.
I was just going to say that. Like,
we've got players with the ability that can, have a free role in that team. We've got that pace. We don't know what Lindelhof's going to be like for United, because, the Premier League's very different to the Portuguese league. Bailly was a good player for United last season, but he's a little suspect. And I feel like the right pace, we can do their centre-backs all day long. They don't even really have proper full-backs either, do they, at the end of the day? So
they don't.
I feel like we could stand a good chance.
Like you said there, mouthwatering prospect, Arnautovic, he's gonna wonder. Ayew's gonna wonder. Yeah, it can have a negative effect on us, but like you said, if we play the counter-attacking formation we're going to do, then Ayew, Arnautovic, Lanzini, and Chicharito up top, all like chipping in with goals, all like creating goals.
And
very exciting.
I just want to touch on Arnautovic as well, and a lot of people ignore the fact that if you give him enough space, we now have another weapon. I don't know if you guys agree. The last few seasons, other than probably Payet from free kicks, we've never really had someone deadly from distance, and Arnautovic has got an absolute cannon of a left foot, and I feel like he gives us
definitely.
that. And if they stand off him and give him enough opportunity, that could be another weapon to our arsenal.
Well, he likes to shoot, doesn't he? I mean, he does like to shoot, and he does. One thing I've always gone by is when a player shoots, did he hit the target? And if they keep hitting the target, they're going to score some goals. And he reminds me of that sort of player. So
absolutely.
Exciting times. Well, on that, we've pretty much discussed West Ham. We've briefly touched on Man United. We don't really want to talk too much about them, but we've done it. We've said what they've got. What do we think? Are we gonna do a prediction? Are we up for the prediction?
Yeah. Why not?
I'd like to know what you guys think of where it's going this game.
So, Rich, put you right under pressure. Throw you under the bus. Give us your prediction for Sunday.
Okay, I reckon we nick a point. I reckon we get a 1-1 away result, and I'm going all out on this one. Chicharito is going to score. Done. 1-1 draw. Chicharito to score for us.
Excellent. May as well go for it, Dan.
Yeah, for me, I agree. My own preview is going out, and I'm contradicting a little bit on what I've said in my own preview that's going to go out tomorrow. But I actually think we're going to nick something, just based on the fact that I was sitting there earlier thinking about the team and the potential, and obviously Chicharito going back to United as well. So I agree with Rich. I'm going with a 1-1, but my heart does say that maybe we could win 2-1. But that's heart.
Why not?
But head says draw 1-1, and I'd be happy with a point as well. Old Trafford. What about you, Ant?
Yeah, one thing you'll get to know about me watching this channel, and I'm usually very positive, and I'm always positive, and I'm going to continue to be positive because I think I'm an optimist. I'm an enthusiastic West Ham fan, and I always think I go into every season think we're going to win a league, we're going to win the cup, we're going to qualify for the Champions League, we're going to win the Champions League. I'm always going to continue to think like that, but I genuinely think we might have a chance to win 2-1. We might go 1-0 down. It'll just knock our confidence low. Maybe go in at half time. Bilic will scream at them and let them know what they've actually got, what they can bring to the table, and we're going to come out and Chicharito will score with 5 minutes to go, and we will win 2-1, and we'll walk away and we'll all be buzzing and happy. So yeah, that's a great. So 2 draws and a win. So fingers crossed, all you West Ham fans can agree, and hopefully we'll get behind the team. We're live on Sky, is it, or BT?
Yeah, Sky Sports.
Live on Sky Sports. So make sure we all get watching that. So just to fill you in on a few more bits of information, guys, that's our first preview video done. Dan had mentioned he has his own channel. So Dan, I'm going to quickly pass you over to plug your own channel.
Yeah, sure. Just very, very quickly, I have my own personal YouTube channel. It's Fandango. Go hit the subscribe button. I'll stick all the stuff in the little section below with my link. Go have a little look. Basically, I cover all things football. I've got a Premier League show. I do my own Hammer series. Any goings on in football, I talk about it. Also got an FM series, a little bit of FIFA on there. But the main gist of it is I was trying to build a little football community, and that's where you can find me.
Excellent. And also mentioning some of the stuff we're going to do moving forward. Rich has touched on the fact we're going to do an international show. So if you are interested and you live abroad and you support West Ham, then please get in contact with us and we'll arrange getting you on and having a chat about all things West Ham, whether that we're reviewing a game, previewing a game, or we're just discussing why you support West Ham and where you come from. The whole idea is we want you involved, as many of you guys as possible involved in our conversations, because we're making this channel for you. We want to make it exciting as possible. Other videos we've got coming up are vlogs. Dan and a few of the other guys are going to get involved on the vlogs, so we're hopefully going to bring you some interesting, cool, different dynamics of that. We're going to do some FIFA. I'm going to mention exactly what we're going to be doing with FIFA. So we're going to do a request a bet idea. If any of you gamblers out there like to put a little bet on at the weekend, you can watch our video that hopefully is going to be our resident Alex is going to take, and he will play a game against the team that we'll be playing that following weekend. And you'll have options to bet at that weekend, whether that be the first goal scorer, the score, someone getting carded, first corner, how many corners in the game, etc. So there'll be ideas for you to make a request a bet for the weekend. And that seems to be everything. We've got a few more other things up our sleeves, but just remember, please hit that subscribe button. Please enter our competition, 250 subscribers, and you can win a brand spanking new signed West Ham top for this season. Keep your eye on our social media pages, because we're going to be tickets available to the West Ham Tottenham game, which is at the end of September. I probably should have the date in my diary, but I can't remember what it is. And yeah, any questions, please let us know. Send us. All the links are going to be at the bottom of the page, to Dan's page, to our pages. Go to Facebook, like our page. Go to Twitter, follow our page. Anything you want to say, please message us. But I am Anton.
I am Dan.
You are.
And I am Richard.
And we are.
We.
Irons United.
Irons United.